I think there's a lot of learning in that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started and going to go through the laws of NLP, what it is, and then, you know, we'll just have a conversation if anything else comes up for you. So, you know, let's start out with, let me share my screen with you because now it's finally working. I love when technology works when it doesn't when I want it to do what I want it to do. So we are under the Society of NLP, which, you know, in anything that we do, and Giovanni, you've seen it now with credibility. In anything that we do, we want to build credibility. We want to make sure that the listener, in your case, the people that you're working with, your team, right, that they have a good foundation. Why the hell should they listen to you? You know, why the hell should you listen to me? So some of my credibilities that I'm going to just touch on really quick is, well, first of all, I'm a grandmaster of NLP. I didn't just read it somewhere. I went through first, you know, many decades ago, the NLP practitioner, and then the NLP master, and then the NLP trainer. I have Gestalt training. I have a marketing degree. I have an education degree. So I have a lot of credibility, and I'm just, you know, quickly touching on it. Why? Because I am preparing. It is my job to prepare the listener how to listen to me. I'm not just a gal that, you know, read a book on NLP and now thinks she knows it all. As the Institute, the NLP Institute of Atlanta, we also are under the umbrella Institute of the Society of NLP, which was founded by Richard Bandler, the founder of NLP back in the 70s. We're working with two large organizations, one in Switzerland called the International Association of NLP. They're in Europe, and also the International Coaching Federation. They're here in the United States because we do coach a lot of people. We go through organizations and leaders and team leaders like you are, Giovanni. And yeah, for anyone that's watching the recording after we're done today, I am having a conversation with Giovanni today because it's him and I, and he gets to have a conversation with the Grandmaster herself. So here we go. So what is NLP? NLP, let's take it apart. Neuro-Linguistic Programming is the behavior. So neuro is what's right here in your head. That's your brain. That's your operating system. If we want to, you know, talk IT language, it is how we are processing information. Linguistic is how we are talking, our verbal communication outward to other people, like we're having a conversation here. Well, it's me doing the talking right now, but hopefully you have some good questions later on too, Giovanni. And also internally, the communication that we have with ourselves, right? So there's communication going inward and outward. And then the programming part is the behavior. We are with our thoughts, and our thoughts forming our language. We are programming ourselves of how to behave. And like you said it earlier, your team, you are programming, or you're influencing how you are working with other people, right? Or the people that you are working with. We constantly influence each other. When we have rapport, we can influence better. Now, I'm using the term influencing, and I chose this term for, you know, other than it's the term what we're doing. A lot of people think that influencing is also manipulating. Far from that. We are not manipulating, right? We're building relationships. That is the main part of NLP. But most people don't even know. They know maybe out of their intuition how to build a relationship, but they don't know what are all the components of a relationship to build a good relationship for with one another. So I want to go through the success laws. And Giovanni, I'm going to share my email address with you later. Let me make a note so I don't forget. It's basically info@nlpatlanta.com. If you'll shoot me an email, I'll send you these success laws as a printout, and you can have them. NLP is all about choice and flexibility, because the more choice you have, and we established before we started today that Giovanni is working with a team, and most of his team members are older, and so there's a generational gap. And it could also be that there's some sort of cultural gap as well. right? So he's wanting to learn more about NLP to have better communication with his team, and that they're actually doing what he's asking them to do. And that's like, sometimes you feel like you're pounding your head against the wall thinking, oh my God, just do the heck what I told you to do, right? Listen to me. But in order to do that, that sounds easy, but that's not how it's done. In order to do that, we gotta, establish a few of these laws that I'm about to go through. So NLP is all about increasing choice and flexibility. And that is increasing choice and flexibility so we can only influence yourself best in your communication, in how you're doing things, in how you're reacting to others. So having more choice and flexibility in your communication is going to be your secret sauce. Sounds easy? Let's go through it. So here we see the model of how we are making what we how we are perceiving things and what we make them mean. So let's go through this from the left side, from the right side, where it says external events, where you see the frowny face and the smiley face, the drama, the two drama masks. So at any given moment, you have an external event, something's happening. Let's take a good example maybe here. I'm making one up, Giovanni. Say you're having a conversation with a team member. The team member is like 50 years old, and you're having a conversation, and you have all of this information. Your team member is telling you X, Y, Z, and while your team member is talking, the phone is ringing and the computer's running and someone else wants something from you. So there's all of these things going on simultaneously, all at the same time. So this is an external event coming towards you, and you see it, you hear it, you feel it. You might even smell something or taste something, right? So in our brain, as that external information, and it's about 2 million bits of information at any given second that we're processing, in order for our operating system, our brain, to not completely go, we have to delete, distort, and generalize. So we're deleting information. We might forget some stuff that they're saying because we don't feel that they're really important. We're distorting them. We make them mean something different than what we're hearing, or we're generalizing it. We're kind of packaging it into a bigger picture just so we can make it mean something and not get completely overwhelmed with information, okay? So then once in our operating system, in our brain, we delete, distort, and generalize, now we're making our own internal presentation. As you see the first screen circle here, we're making our own internal presentation. We're creating our own picture. We're creating our own meaning of what is going on outward, and we're creating our own meaning inward, okay? That leads to our mindset. We can, someone says something or does something, we're either totally, empowered and uplifted and pumped up and excited, or we're like, really, fucking, I hate this guy, I'm frustrated, or, I'm really sad of something that they said. So that will influence your mindset. It can go in many directions, whatever your emotions that you have that you want to choose from, from all the way excited and exuberant to sad or angry or upset or whatever. So there's all of these emotions that we can choose at any given moment. And yes, it is a choice, right? And then that mindset, whichever state we're in, of whichever state of mind we're in, that will then show in our physiology, in our body language. If we're sad, we're kind of hanging our shoulders and we're like, oh, I gotta do this. Or if we're really excited, we're using our hands and maybe using our facial features, and we're just super excited. Or if we're really angry, we might just frown our face and you might clench your fist. So that shows in your behavior outwards of what's going on here. So at any given moment, the reason why I'm starting with this is that you have a choice. Remember, going back, increasing choice and flexibility, you have a choice of how you want to react towards something that's coming to you. So if someone in your team is not doing what you want them to do, you want to start paying attention of how are you reacting. How are you, you know, reacting is not as good as proacting. You want to be proactive. You want to be in charge, but you got to know some of the steps that you need to do to be in charge, to feel in charge, and not to react to someone else's behavior. Does that make sense so far? Okay, so let's go through some of these laws. The map is not the territory. We all delete, distort, and generalize. So the map is not the territory means that everyone has a different map. Everyone sees the world differently, right? We see the world differently because we delete, distort, and generalize different, because we make it mean something different, because we have different values, because we have different beliefs, because we have different, we've gone through different experiences, right? Culturally, by age, right? I mean, my mom to this day, my mom's 83, my mom to this day, when she hears a loud airplane in the air, she goes into a frightened state because she grew up during World War II. She was 6 years old when the war ended. So because I don't have that experience, I don't know what that feels like. I don't even know, you know, what she heard. I have no reference. So there is no right or wrong. We could say it's just, you know, we're at the Atlanta airport. It's just an airplane. So what? Well, for other people that might mean something different. So having enough understanding in relation to how other people are seeing the map and how they are deleting, distorting, and generalizing will help you to relate better to them. And that is all about respect, right? Respecting how the other person has their internal representation. So again, that's easy said, a little bit harder to do, but we're going to get there. Knowing, this is another law of NLP, and we're going to go through all of these laws here. There are 13 laws, and then there are a ton more. I'm going to go through the core ones. So course correcting, knowing that rather than you pounding your head against the wall, doing the same thing over and over again, that you actually realize, okay, I can do it differently. It might be the same behavior again, but I can have a different approach. So knowing that you can always choose a course correct, that you can always choose another way, because the clear definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So don't be that guy. Then there's the law of requisite variety, and that states the person with the most flexibility wins, or the person with the most flexibility controls the system. So you as a team leader, you want to have enough flexibility in your communication in order for your message that you're sending outwards to your team members to actually land with them, and not to have some sort of barrier, or that they're being defensive, right? One of the flexibilities is to pay attention, and I have these 4 cards. Pay attention. Do they process information more visually? So pay attention to what they're saying. Oh, I see that. Okay, I can envision that. Those are all visual words. So they're seeing things more than they're hearing them, okay? Or are they more kinesthetic? Are they more of the feeling kind? I get a grasp of that, or I can feel that sensation. So those are kinesthetic words. Start paying attention to those words, and that's why I have these cards, so they're like a little aid for yourself. Or are they more the internal processing, the thinking kind, the understanding, the relating to? So that's an internal process. Or are they more the auditory type of people that are hearing what you are saying? They literally have to hear it. Sometimes it's as easy as someone will share with you, I love books, but I love audiobooks. I can't read a book, but I need to hear the book. So that already gives you an idea. Do they process information more auditorily or visually or kinesthetically? Some of your team members might tell you, you know what, I cannot buy anything on Amazon. I must go to the store and buy it at the store because I got to feel it. So that shows you that they're a kinesthetic person that must take in information kinesthetically through touch, through the tactile sense. Okay, so that's one way of having more flexibility, because we all are one of these, not all four. We can communicate in all four, but we have one dominant representational system that we use for our internal representation. So I personally am very visual. So I got to actually see it in order to make sense of it. Other people need to hear it more. Other people need to feel it more, right? So when you are able to speak all four of these coded languages within the English language, then you're going to have more flexibility in your communication. Now, to add even more fuel to the fire, I have 4 more cards, and I like to call these cards, because they're 4 and 4, I like to call them the V8 engine of communication. So we have 4 over here, and then we have 4 over here. One is not showing because I got a green screen behind me, so know that there's one right here. So this is the V8 engine of communication, and these are the value cards. So we all are going way back to Hippocrates. We are one of these 4 personality types. We're either the action takers, the ready, fire, aim. I'm just gonna go out and do it. I'm gonna go crush it. No prisoners held. Or there's the nurturing kind. There's the ones that are the caring, the harmony driven, integrity. You know, integrity is a really big thing for them. They're that kind of personality. And then there's the green one, which it's hard to see right now. This is the green one, and it's the knowledge personality type. So those are the ones that are facts driven, a lot of data. They have to know all of the details. They must see the research. They must know the source of what you're talking about. And then there are the blueprint kind of people, and they're the very by the book, very, very structured. They're risk averse, and they have all of their ducks in a row. So you are also, like I said, to add more fuel to the fire, you're one of these. You're not naturally all 4 of them, but you're probably one dominant one. Okay, so the dominant one, if you're in your speaking, and I'm going to come from my experience, I'm in high action. If I can only speak the action language, I'm missing out on the other 3. I'm missing out on the nurturing kind, I'm missing out on the knowledge kind, and I'm missing out on the blueprint kind. So that's a real problem, because if I only speak to these guys and not to these guys, I don't have enough flexibility, and my message cannot land with them. And that's the whole key here. That's what choice and flexibility is all about. So being flexible enough, and that's why I have these cards, and they're little aids, and you can buy them on our website if you so choose to. They're not expensive. They're just little aids for you to have, so you can become aware of, oh, Joe is actually not visual like I am. He's actually very data driven. He's green. He's very data driven. And he's also very auditory digital. So when you know what your guys are, each team member, that will already help you to communicate on their level, and not expect that they need to communicate on your level, because that's what some leaders that call themselves leaders are doing wrong. They think everyone's got to adapt to them. No, the world does not evolve around you. Everyone needs to make a mutual effort to understand the other. Easier said, harder to do, specifically, nowadays. But as a team leader, you actually have that kind of responsibility to your team. So that's a lot of requisite variety. Knowing that there's structure to your thoughts and your memories, and that they are reoccurring. So if someone does things in one way, they probably do other things in a similar way. They're either, super structured and do everything in a structured way, or they're just all over the place, and they're just, all over the place. And when they're all over the place in one area, they're probably all over the place in the other area too. So knowing that there's a structure in place too, and when people choose to, they can learn, or when you as a team leader know how to do that, you can actually teach them. but you first got to know how to do that. Oh, this is a good one. Your results are only as good as your mindset. Write this formula down. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. Actions lead to results. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. Actions lead to results. So if we start at the results at the very end of the formula and you don't like your results, you want to go all the way back to the beginning of the formula and check in with your mindset. Check in with the thoughts that you're having. Are they supporting you or are they not supporting you? I'm not even saying positive or negative. I'm saying, are they supporting your result or are they not supporting your result? I'll give you a really good example. There's a thought in the morning. You could say you're getting out of bed and the thought is, oh, it's gray outside today. It's the day after election. Joe is giving me a hard time again already. He's texting me. This day is going to be horrible. Thought. The feeling is that you already feel horrible because you told yourself so. Okay, so that's the feeling. Your actions are probably going to be either frustrated. So you're going to go into work and you're super frustrated, and your communication now, because your behavior is influenced by your thoughts and your feelings. So your behavior is already kind of on edge, right? The result is that it's going downhill from there. So the communication that you're going to have with Joe is already out the window because you already made up your mind at the beginning of the day, it's going to go downhill. You might not even be aware of that pattern yet, but now you're starting to become aware of it. On the flip side, because NLP is all about choice, on the flip side, you can wake up in the morning and go, hey, today's Wednesday, it's the day after election. Yes, it is rainy and dreary outside, but I'm going to make it an incredible day. That's a thought. And I'm going to jump out of bed. I'm going to take a cold shower and I'm going to, see how I can be of service to Joe. That's a feeling. You're creating a feeling of excitement, although you might have nothing to feel excited about yet, but you make a choice. Sorry, there's a little gnat. You make a choice that you're going to turn your feeling around or your thought around. Therefore, your actions are actually going to be influenced by your thoughts and your feeling. And the result is going to be whatever you want it to be. So now you can have an open communication, and rather than going, look, Joe, it's not going to go down the way you said it's going to go down today. It's not, we're not going to do what you already texted me this morning, but here's what we're going to do. How about, and then you have an open communication. How about we do XYZ? How would that make a difference in our workflow today, or whatever the objective may be? And you lead by asking a question, but you are still in control. A leader that thinks I cannot ask any questions because I'm giving control away is wrong. You can, with really good questions, you can guide your people to where you want them to go. And that's a little bit of a mastery right there. That strategy of asking really good questions. Okay. So people are not their behavior. We already established, you can accept people for who they are, but not have to love their behavior, because behavior can be changed. And it's up to you as a good leader to pace them. Pacing and leading is a strategy that we teach in the practitioner course. You can pace them. When you pace them, you're basically seeing their side, their model of the world, and relating to their model of the world. So then eventually you have enough rapport built with them that they're like, oh, Giovanni's listening to me. He gets what I'm saying. We might not be on the same page, but he still takes the time to listen to me. So you're pacing Joe in this case, and I'm making this up, right? To then eventually, when you have enough rapport, you can then lead Joe to also see your side of the model, or your model of the world, or your side of the story, right? But someone will only do that when they really feel understood. You probably heard it before. People will only buy from you when they know, like, and trust you. In your case, it's not that you're selling actually someone, you're not exchanging money against a service or a product. but you're selling them your demands, you're selling them your leadership. So, right, they're not buying it, but there's a buy-in. You're trying to get them to follow your lead. They will only follow your lead when you have built enough rapport, right? And that takes a little bit of time and some skills. NLP is also about expert modeling. If one person can do it, anyone can. That's what Richard Bandler and John Grinder have done so masterfully with NLP. They deciphered language of successful people and put them into strategies of what we're going through right now, so you can replicate them and use them for your own success. It's all about expert modeling. When you change one modality, you can change them all. So if one modality is a thought or another modality is a feeling, so if you can change around a thought, the rest will follow. Like I just said, you at any given moment, you have a choice of what you want to think. That takes practice. That takes some skills, that takes some learning, and it takes willingness to learn. So when you're able to change a thought, or when you're able to change just your physiology, the way that you carry your body. So if someone is really, really sad, often their body language shows their sadness, like their shoulders are forward and down, and their face is down, and everything is just dreary, and it's grim pessimism, and the world's coming to an end pretty soon. But if you have them bring their shoulders up and have them look upwards, that changes their whole physiology, and therefore they have a different outlook. If the look is only down to the ground, it is grim pessimism. But when they put their shoulders back and look up, there's a whole nother world up there. So giving them the opportunity to see something different and change that modality. Knowing that right now you already have the resources that you need, and that you are continuing to learn and adding to those resources. But you can always do the very best in any given moment with the resource that you have right now. And clearly, and talking to you directly, Giovanni, clearly you already have some really good resources because you're being aware of NLP and you wanting to learn more. So that's great. There are no unresourceful people. There are only unresourceful state of minds. There are only people that are not in the right mindset, but they're still resourceful, because the mindset you can change. We just established that. You change one modality, you change them all. So people are not unresourceful. It's just how they think and how they feel. You can influence that in a really good way. You cannot not communicate. Communication is not just words or tonality. Actually, if we put it in a pie chart, imagine a circle, and you would put word, say the whole circle is communication, and you put one piece of the pie is words, and one piece of the pie is tonality, and one piece of the pie is body language. Words are only 7% when we are looking at highly emotional communication. So words are not a whole lot. Tonality of how we're saying those words is 38%, and the rest is 55%, and that's body language. That means you're giving a lot of information away just by how you are carrying your body and about your minimal cues in your face. Now, if we take the V8 engine of communication and we have established that you're one of these and one of these, so now we're not at 7% anymore. If you don't have enough choice and flexibility, you're actually less than 1%. That's a big problem. That's where the choice and flexibility comes in again. The meaning of our communication is the response you're getting. So if your communication does not have enough choice and flexibility, you're probably not getting the response back, in your case, Giovanni, from your team that you desire to get. So having more choice and flexibility in your communication is going to be very helpful to you. Underlying every behavior is a positive intention. Everyone comes from a place of safety. Everyone comes from a place of positive intention at one point in their life. It might not sound or seem like in some areas that they're like, what, positive intention? No way in hell. Well, at some point in their life, they probably established that behavior and it served them, but it no longer serves them. That's where pacing and leading comes in again, where you can start to pace people so that you can lead them to a better behavior, so you can lead them to better results. And as a team leader, yeah, you're in charge of the results. So you might as well, get a really good grip on these laws. Everyone is making the best choices with the resources available to them. It's very similar to what I said earlier. You already have the resources to do the very best that you can at any given moment, and knowing that you are constantly and consistently learning and pouring into you. Because clearly, if you're not learning, you're dying. That's it. And that learning never ends. And for some people, learning might be feedback of this is not how it works. So, okay, if this is not how it works, how can we make it work, right? Know what you want, know your outcome. And in the practitioner course, we start out with one of these strategies called well-formed outcomes and defining them very clearly of what is the objective of the outcome. What is it that you want? What is it that you want in your personal life? What is it that you want in your business? What is it you want on a personal level in your business? And what is it you want for the entire team? So and that's very specifically, know what you want and spell it out specifically. There's no failure, there's only feedback. So you cannot fail if you go by this principle of there is only feedback, because there's great information when you get feedback. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable getting feedback, but that's great because there's learning in that. So knowing you can't fail if you see it as feedback. NLP is all about moving away from pain or moving away from something that is not pleasant. And then in the second phase, moving toward pleasure or moving toward something that's pleasant. If someone is not moving away yet, they're not experiencing the pain enough yet. And pain can be, they're part of a team and they're not contributing. They're part of their side of the team. There's probably then not enough rule enforcement of, look, Joe, if you're not doing part of your team, if you're not doing what you're responsible to do, then there's going to be consequences. And the consequences could be that in your next evaluation, you're out. That's a pain, right? So in leading a team, you also want to tap into that pain, because knowing that as humans, we first and foremost try to avoid pain to then seek pleasure. It's never the other way around, never ever. First, we want to be without pain to then be with pleasure, but never the other way around. So sometimes we just got to turn up the heat. I want to go, we spend like a half a day in our practitioner course on the accessing cues, and there's information of how we are storing information, or how we are remembering information, or creating information visually, auditorily, or kinesthetically. So visual, we're looking up here. So when our eyes go up here, then we know that the person is visually oriented and processing information. When they're looking more towards their ears, it's a hint that they're more auditory. So their representational system is more auditory. And when they look down, they're more into their feelings. So that's more kinesthetic. So that's why, I said it earlier, depressed people often have their shoulders down and their head down, because they're so connected to their feelings. People that are, high visionaries of companies, they're very up here. Actually, in school, back in, when I was a kid in Germany, and the teacher would call on me and she says, Brigitta, and she would ask me a question and I would go, and I would look for the answer up here, and she would yell at me and she'd go, Brigitta, the answer is not up on the ceiling. And I'm like, okay. But now I know actually the answer is on the ceiling because I was looking for it up here because I am very visual. This is a quick chart on well-formed outcomes. We go through well-formed outcomes in the practitioner course as well. You want to state the well-formed outcome in a positive. You want to know that it's in your control, that you can actually get to that well-formed outcome. You want to gather some evidence on the well-formed outcome. How do you know that you, how do you know when you have it? So putting some measurements on that, and on the same token, how do you know that you don't already have it? And then putting it in a context, how can you get it? Knowing what the resources are that for you to get to that outcome, and then what kind of impact will it make? Will it only make an impact on you? That would be an impact of winning one, so win, a win situation. Will it have an impact of win-win, which is you winning, I winning, or will it have an impact win-win-win? I like to have well-formed outcomes when I work with organizations that is a win-win-win. For me, it must be a win-win-win. A win for you, a win for me, and a win for the greater good, the community, or the organization. So win-win-win is the impact. And of course, I'm showing it here as a circle because it keeps going. Well-formed outcomes are a great strategy. They're very simple and they're very profound, but they must be stated in very specifics and positives. So here we are on the success laws again. Make sure, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to put my email address in here, info@nlpatlanta.com. When you send me an email, you can ask for the success laws and I'll send that checklist to you. That way you have it. Giovanni, I flew through the laws of NLP as I usually do. Did you get something out of it? What are some questions?
Yep. I've been reading all these books, and you pretty much make me remember all of them. The Influence, NLP, and everything makes sense. And that's the reason I've been in this job for a little bit more than 2 years. Even though the guys gave me 3 months, the 3 months you're gonna be out of here. But even thanks to those books, I've been there for a little less than 3 years. And
that's awesome. Congratulations.
So it's I don't know, it's a challenge, and I like the challenge. And the crew, it works, not as much as they should be working, but they do more than they used to do. So
that's good.
Which is good, but it's just hard to. Everybody has a different mindset, so it's.
That's right.
Sometimes I got 10, I got 30 guys on my crew, and it's talking to them in 30 different ways. It's a little hard sometimes.
Yes, but that's where the choice and the flexibility comes in, right?
Yep. So it's
for sure, for sure. Is your organization, do they invest in staff development or business development? Maybe maybe you could talk to them and say, look, so far from 3 months to 3 years, you like something about me, because I have plenty of team leaders from all sorts of organizations that take our course, and they love it, and they go back and they do their job even better, and then they train some people on their job in what they learned in the course. So it might be, an opportunity for you there.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Think about it. Yep. So it's all good. Learn a lot in this first lesson. So what's this all about? What's after this now? What's the next step?
So the next step is the practitioner course. Okay. The next step is the 10-day. It's a 10-day course. 10 days, 2 hours. The next one is coming up November 16th through the 20. I should know this. 20. Let me check my calendar here really quick. 16th through the 25th, 16th through the 25th. And so it's, which time zone are you in?
Eastern Standard, I think.
Eastern Standard, yeah. Okay, so it's from 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. And it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's 10 days, consecutive days. And once you have signed up for it, we send you a workbook. We don't just send you the PDF. We send you like the real deal folder. It's a good 130 pages folder with exercises that we do in class, going through all the strategies, going through all the well-formed outcomes, the pacing and leading, the building rapport, the belief systems, the how building strategies, the Meta model, the Milton model, the anchor setting. I know I missed a few things. Hold on, let me check my cheat sheet here. This is my book of what I'm teaching from. Rapport building. Oh, then the representational system. So we go much deeper into the word catalog of what I touched on here. The eye accessing cues. We're going to do some exercises on the eye accessing cues, anchoring, getting into the state of flow, eliciting the distinction with submodalities, the Meta model, which is very specific language, and then the Milton model, which is very vague language, and having the flexibility to switch between the two of them as well. Strategies, reframing, contextual reframes, and content reframes, and calibrations. And map is not the territory, of course. So that would be the next step, and then from there you can choose to do the master if you want to continue to learn and go deeper into the strategies.
So that's the practitioner, and then the master's after. What's after the practitioner course? Master.
So it's practitioner, master, and there's a crossroads of NLP of getting deeper into the mastery, and then there's a trainer. And there's many other little areas in between that you can choose. We go into the neurological levels. I don't know if you've ever read about the neurological levels by Robert Dilts. We go into that. We have a course, a free course this Friday. That's on the scenarios. So wind tunneling your business with NLP and setting yourself up, Jumpstart 2021. That's coming up this Friday. You found us on Eventbrite, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's also on Eventbrite. But I can send you that link as well if you want to jump on. It's good information.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I'll. What's your email address, Giovanni?
It's Giovanni Carrillo.
G-O-A-N-N-I.
G-E-O, sorry, G-E-O-V-A-N-N-I. Okay, give me a second. Okay, it's G-E-O-V-A-N-N-I. Then Carrillo, C-A-R-R-I-L-L-O. And then R-U-I-Z at gmail.com. Is that right?
Is there any dot between Giovanni and Carrillo?
No, it's all together.
Okay, and then I-U-I-Z?
R-U-I-Z.
R-U-I-Z.
Yeah, Ruiz.
Like Dan Miguel.
No, what do you mean?
Have you ever read? Yeah. Have you ever read The Four Agreements?
No.
Oh my God, you got to read that book. It's such a great book. It's by a gentleman called Dan Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah.
I might totally butcher his name, so forgive me for my pronunciation. It's a German trying to speak Spanish. And it's called The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements. Great book.
All right. I'll look into
Good.
it. So
I'll send you an email with the link, and I'll just send you the success laws and the link for Friday.
okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Other questions?
No, that's about it for now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for jumping on. See ya.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.